Purdue proving it belongs. Taking down Gonzaga 80-68, another double-double for the reigning player of the year, Zach Edey. He goes for 27 points, 14 rebounds, but it's also about the guard play. Braden Smith, Lance Jones, Fletcher Lawyer. I mean, this is what they've all matured, right? They've all gotten experience after that embarrassing loss to FDU last year, and their guard play has stepped up. Zach Edey leading the way 80-68 as they advance to the Elite Eight for the first time since 2019. Remember, they played that epic game against Virginia, went to overtime. They lost, but man, that was peak Purdue, and now they are into the Elite Eight to face the winner of Creighton and Tennessee. All right, back here with Tim Doyle. And Tim, this is what we've been talking about all tournament, about how their guard play has improved. It has more experience, and you saw that once again in this game from Gonzaga. What impresses you about Purdue to kind of stick to this game plan night in and night out? They're not playing scared anymore. Yeah, that's the best way to say it. They're not playing scared. I think they're much more balanced. You know, 2 years ago, you had Jaden Ivey and Zach Edey, and talent-wise, you actually may have had a little bit more talent. Edey was still coming along, but Ivey ended up being a lottery pick. But this team is much more balanced. Braden Smith, that's one of his 15 assists. He had 14 points. Purdue shot nearly 60% from the field. They made 32 field goals. They had 24 assists. Tonight, the way Purdue played, they were the best team in college basketball. Tonight, this Purdue performance beats UConn. Now, can they bottle that up? Because UConn's the bar right now. Let's just say how they've dominated stuff. Tonight beats UConn. 57% from the field, 24 assists on 32 turnovers, only 32 made field goals, only 9 turnovers. Edey has 27 and 14. Lance Jones makes big shots. Lawyer makes big shots. The defense was good. The physicality was good. But I think the giant X factor, and I said this coming into the game as I took Purdue on the money line, was Lance Jones gives them an edge. Defensively and offensively, he's a fifth-year guy. Saw him play in high school at Evanston High School, covered him at Southern Illinois, has been following his career. He has changed kind of the swag of that entire team. You look at what Purdue is trying to do, get knocked out one year and win the whole thing the next year. They're on the path right now. They're going to face the winner of Creighton and Tennessee. Does that matter for them right now, the way they're playing? Does it matter who they play? I think it's a great question. Does it matter the opponent, or does it matter more with them? Don't you feel like this is a battle against themselves? I do believe that. That's a good way to put it. And I felt it a little bit in the first half when this was a one-possession game, and those thoughts they naturally creep in your head. Heck, they creeped in my head during Grambling. Like when Grambling, that game was close, I go, oh, is this going to happen again? So if that's happening to me, you know it's happening to the players. So right now, golf's a sport where it's just you and the hole. Right now, this is just all about Purdue. Because if the Purdue goes out there and plays like how they did tonight, they're the best team in college basketball. Now, we've seen them go out there and not look like the best team in college basketball, but the way they executed tonight, a swag, a confidence, this game was close until it wasn't. They really dominated the last 15 minutes of this game. And Gonzaga's a nice team. I don't think anyone expected them to cut down the nets in Phoenix. But they got dominated like the two previous opponents of Purdue. But there definitely is that thought that creeps in everybody's head. And with every resounding win it came, I think that voice in your head of, oh, no, gets a little bit softer and a little bit softer, and that belief and confidence gets a little bit higher and a little bit higher. A little bit softer now. When you talk about fatal flaw, it's not on the court from what I'm hearing. It sounds like it's between the ears. This could be their fatal flaw, Purdue. I think that making shots, 9 of 20 from 3, they do that. No one's going to beat them. Because then all of a sudden, then everything is so spread out, and then you're able to lob the ball at Edey, then no one helps, and it's game over. Braden Smith's coming off screen and rolls. I mean, he got 15 assists today. You want to know why? Because they made a bunch of threes, and then he's able to throw the ball at Edey. So if they're able to make and shoot close to 50% and make double-digit threes, this tournament's a wrap. Nobody's beating them. But that's hard to maintain.
Yeah.
But what I see every game is just a little bit more of that confidence of like, oh, we can do this. Because that was what everybody was worried about. It was more up here. No one questioned the ability. It was all going to be up here. And I thought this was a resounding win because early in the first half, it was like, oh, wow, Gonzaga's hanging around until Purdue. And Lance Jones made some huge shots in this game, put them away and dominated the second half.
Purdue one step closer to Phoenix as they advance the Elite Eight with a resounding win over Gonzaga, 80-68. And they are still dancing in the NCAA tournament, something we could not say at this time last year. As you take a look at their Elite Eight appearances in school history, it is their 6th Elite Eight appearance, first since 2019. Lost to Virginia in an epic game. They're trying to do what they've never done before. Okay, this is it. They're trying to win a title. They're trying to do what Virginia did by losing to UMBC one year and winning it all the next year, which is one and done to one shining moment. Perhaps it will happen in Phoenix, but they got to get through their next opponent first. Creighton and Tennessee, the winner of that game, faces Purdue in the Elite Eight. Coming up, we'll head back to Detroit. A live report from the Midwest region where Purdue proves it once again with a dominant win over Gonzaga. You're watching CBS Sports HQ. Keep it locked. Back here on CBS Sports HQ, Purdue on to the Elite Eight, thanks in part to Zach Edey and another double-double. But also, how about the guards of Braden Smith, Lance Jones, Fletcher Lawyer? Look at Braden Smith. He was 2 rebounds shy of a triple-double. 15 assists? I mean, sharing is caring. And Purdue, 80-68 the final as they advance to the Elite Eight for the first time since 2019, continuing to try to prove it and come back from the embarrassment from 1 year ago. Get right to the site. Welcome in CBS Sports college basketball writer David Cobb, who joins us from Detroit. And David, you were courtside watching Purdue and how surgical they played in this game, something we could not say 1 year ago. What stood out to you from this Purdue Boilermaker team?
Yeah, to me, it was the supporting cast. Obviously, Zach Edey, phenomenal yet again on the big stage. But I flash back to early on in this game, Mason Gillis coming in off the bench, hitting a couple of big threes. Then in the second half, Cam Heide coming in, making a couple of big plays on the offensive end. And the list goes on. Trey Kaufman-Wren had a great spurt there early in the second half to sort of fend off a Gonzaga charge. Even Ethan Morton came in and played 9 seconds, but he contributed 2 take fouls with 9 seconds left in the first half to make life hard on Gonzaga down the stretch. So the fans loved that here in Detroit. And just overall, it was a phenomenal effort team-wide. And so if you hadn't watched Purdue this season and you wondered what was different about them, you saw it tonight with the way their supporting cast stepped up.
David, is there a team that they would rather face in the next round, whether it be Creighton or Tennessee, or does it not matter with the way they're playing right now with confidence?
Well, I think if you're Purdue, you'd be perfectly fine with facing Tennessee because you beat Tennessee earlier this season. You sort of know what you're going to get. There's a certain level of comfort there. And I think Creighton has one of the few big men in the country who is moderately prepared, at least, to go up against Zach Edey. They have Ryan Kalkbrenner, who's over 7 feet tall himself. He's one of the best in the country at defending without fouling, and we know how important the free throw line is for Purdue and for Zach Edey. So I think if I'm Purdue and I'm Matt Painter and I'm watching this second game, I'm rooting for Tennessee to win because you've been there, you've done that, and you know you can handle those guys.
How appropriate would that be? Because in the Maui Invitational, they beat Gonzaga, and then the next team they beat in the Maui Invitational, Tennessee. So maybe history will repeat itself here in that case as well. David Cobb from Detroit here on CBS Sports HQ. David, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it.